My name is Grace Weber, and I'm the founder of Grace Weber's Music Lab. I think the most incredible thing you can do for another person, especially a young person, is to notice them for who they authentically are. At the Music Lab, we create a space where young people can come and be themselves and get celebrated for it. I grew up in Milwaukee, and so many of my musical roots are here. I grew up singing in the Central City Youth Gospel Choir, and I was a part of a show called We Are the Drum, and I wouldn't be the singer or artist I am today without the musical education I got here in this city. The Music Lab happens once a month at 88.9 Radio Milwaukee. Every month we have guest artists and mentors from Milwaukee and around the world come to the Music Lab and work with high school students on their craft. Whether you're a singer in a band or you want to go into the business side of music, the Music Lab has something for you. We called it the Music Lab because we want it to be a space where you can be wildly creative and use your imagination in whatever ways you want. I want the Music Lab to be a place in Milwaukee for young people to learn, meet new friends, and become the artists and visionaries they want to be. One of the greatest powers of music is its ability to bring people together. No matter what high school you go to, what neighborhood you're from, or what kind of music you play or like, we want high school students from all over Milwaukee to help create the next community of musicians in this city and help tell the rest of the world what Milwaukee sounds like.
What up, what up, what up, what up in the sunshine? What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another installment of Grace Weber's Music Lab. We are here for April 2022, okay? I'm so excited to be here. My name is Be Free, and I'm the Music Education Coordinator for 88.9 Radio Milwaukee, as well as a singer, songwriter, artist, and all that good jazz. But I'm especially here in the capacity of this wonderful program that we have here today. We are so excited to be able to present our special guest this evening. But before we do, I always like to give an overview of the program in case anybody here for the first time. So you want to know what it is that this is doing. So Grace Weber is an incredible singer, artist from Milwaukee who helped co-found this great program that we have specifically designated towards teaching teens about the music industry. So every month throughout the school year, we'll have special guests who are singers, musicians, band leaders, managers, anything you could think of that has to do with the music industry. We bring them to them and ask questions and also talk about their craft, especially as it pertains to them from their teen years. Along with that, we also normally have an open mic component as well, so kids can also share their art and get feedback from these guests as well. So it's a whole full circle moment. We have been going strong for 5 seasons. This is the second to last series of our season 5, guys. And we are so excited for next month as well because we're going to be closing out with a bang. But if you're here with us right now, definitely make sure you share this video. Let somebody know that they can watch it. And if you're not a teen, that's okay because it is virtual and you can all learn about what we're going to be talking about today. Now, if you want to hear more about the Music Lab and what we got going on, please make sure you visit us over at the information there at the bottom, gracegwmusiclab.com, as well as Instagram and Facebook at GW Music Lab. And of course, we always want to give a special guest to our sponsors who are always going to be helping us get this through, which is Advocate Aurora Health, American Family Insurance, the Daniel M. Sorf Charitable Trust, NPS Partnership for the Arts and Humanities, Ralph Evinrude Foundation, and of course, 88.9 Radio Milwaukee. Okay, cool. So I mentioned early, somebody said, hey, Lavish, how you doing? Nobody ever shouts me out individually when we come on these things. I appreciate you for that. Thank you. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a wonderful person that helped co-found this program, and they are here with us today. So I am going to welcome her on. Hopefully I can see her. The lovely Miss Grace Weber. Pew, pew, pew.
Hello.
Hey. How's it going?
It's good. You always brighten my day, so
Thank you. I try to be the sun. I mean, you got plenty of sun because you're out in LA, but I try to be the sunshine and keeping all this together.
You succeed. You are a ray
Thank
of,
you.
of light.
Thank you. So we have been checking in and doing these virtual check-ins for a while now. I cannot believe that we have been in 5 seasons of Grace Weber's Music Lab. That's amazing.
That's wild.
That's super wild. But I know that we're closing out with a strong bang, and I'm very, very excited for tonight's guest. I know that you have some special connections with our guests as well. Do you want to talk to our audience about one of the reasons why you chose to invite this guest to the lab tonight?
Yeah, so India Carney has been one of my best friends for the longest time.
Yes.
We met way back in the days of high school through this program called Young Arts. And
Yes.
I am a few years older than India. I don't know how much older I am than you, India, if you can hear me in the back. But when, so I went through the program called Young Arts, which is which the Music Lab is based on Young Arts a lot.
Yeah.
So there's also that cool connection. I went through the program when I was a senior in high school. And then the next year or year after, I came back and was sort of like a counselor for the program.
Nice.
And I remember on the night of the Voice Winners, which is what Indy and I were, I see this girl walk out on stage and start singing. And I literally dropped everything that I was carrying. I was like, what? Who is this? Oh
Right.
my God. And her voice was just completely magical. And
Super
from
dope.
that point on, I've been the biggest fan of India, and I've gotten to, watch her career just take off. And yeah, I'm just so happy that she's here with us. I know she's got a lot going on, so I'm super stoked to have her work with us today.
Love it. Love it. I love that we have all these specific connections. And that's a wonderful story. Like, I like hearing about all the different ways that you've been tied into our guests. And that is already like, you guys pretty much are following the same trajectories as well, like being both singers and having your own independent career. So that's really, really awesome. Yeah. I'm excited to learn more from her. But before I bring her on, let me let you guys at home know a little bit of a background on a little bit of the musical tea on who this person is. Our special guest is an American singer, songwriter, vocal arranger, vocal coach, and actress. Hello. A native of Brooklyn, New York, and graduate of LaGuardia Arts High School, the famed, hey, I'm gonna live forever. She finished her classical music training at UCLA, and before graduating college, she made her television debut on NBC's Emmy Award-winning series The Voice in season 8. As a top 5 artist from that show, she's gone on to perform at the VMAs, Grammy Awards, BET Awards, and more, and toured with award-winning pop artist Katy Perry, as well as sung for Grammy-winning artists Dua Lipa, Mariah Carey, Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, Billie Eilish, all of these amazing folks. She's been in their company. Her original music fuses her pop, folk, classical, R&B, a cappella jazz, and musical theater influences. And in 2019, she signed to UK publishing company Phrased Differently to start the next chapter in her music career, and is currently signed to Randy Jackson's management company, 1963 Entertainment. Her debut single, Human, is a personal account on equity, representation, and empathy. So before I bring her on, let me give you guys a small snippet of what this person sounds like.
I do the same thing. I told you that I never would. I told you I'd change, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need you to stay, need you to stay. Oh, I do the same thing. I told you that I never would. I told you I'd change, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need you to stay, need you to stay.
Ugh, amazing, amazing. Guys, please give a warm, not that one. Guys, please give a warm, rousing virtual welcome to our special guest, India Carney.
Guys, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my gosh. Now, guys, if you are watching at home, you have a special treat right now because India is actually literally, as we speak, in the midst of working on some vocal coaching scenarios for American Idol. So she took the time to come and be with us this evening, and we're very, very grateful to have her. So if you are at home and you're watching and you have any questions whatsoever about vocals, about singing, about working with American Idol, about being on The Voice, about leading a singing career in general, please put them in the comments. We're going to get as many questions answered as humanly possible while we have India here with us in our presence, guys. So feel free. Nothing is off limits, promise.
Yay.
So thank you again for being here. I mentioned to everybody in the beginning of the stream that this is normally geared towards our teen audiences because we want to make sure we're giving them a solid foundation on how to start the careers that they're going to be sprouting into as they continue to grow. So a lot of the questions that we're going to be asking are stemmed from that. So just kind of bear that in mind. I start off all of our things the same. And also, Grace, if you have any questions that you would like to ask India that you think are relevant to what we're talking, then you are welcome to sprinkle those in too. Okay? So most of the teens in our audience range from 13 to 19 years old, and they're all aspiring artists or generally interested in the music industry in some capacity. Can you tell us what India was doing in her teen years, whether it was 13 or the 16? What were you doing in this specific age range yourself, and whether it has something to do with music or not is really fun.
Yeah, music has always been a part of my life since I was like out the womb pretty much. So by the time I was a teenager, I had already decided that I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
So between like 13 and 19, I was heavily invested in my high school studies, trying to take advantage of everything. So I was in like every musical I was eligible to be in, the talent shows and all the choir performances. High school is when I really got deep into songwriting as well, because there was a composition class dedicated to that. So
Nice.
I was just trying to develop every muscle that I could when I was a teenager. Still am, but like high school was really the fueling, the thing that just gave me the drive to get better at all these things.
Love it. I think it's super interesting that no matter the caliber of people we speak to, everybody seems to have known from a very young age that this was something that they wanted to do. I know Grace and I also kind of had similar upbringings as well, like knowing from jump. You know, me and Grace actually met when we were younger and didn't realize that we knew each other when we were adults. Like, we were both a part of the Milwaukee Showtime at the Apollo at Summerfest when we were like in middle school. And then when I came to work here, and I was like, you look kind of familiar. Then I'm like, oh my God, it's the same person. Like, oh my God. So definitely understand the young aspirations for wanting to do this, because we definitely been on that field for sure.
Out the womb.
Exactly. So do you have other musical folks in your family that have kind of given you some inspiration for this as well?
To be honest, I don't know that I was inspired by the other musical family members. I've got my sister. She used to be really big on her trombone career, and then she moved on to singing, and now she's kind of taken a hiatus and is just trying to figure out what she wants to do in life. But yeah, so we took piano lessons together, and then she found her way to trombone and then singing. I also have a cousin who got her master's in pretty much like operatic voice as well. So it's funny when I think about, like, I'm not the only one in my family, although I think I'm the only one who's like actively like made this a lifelong career thing.
Yeah.
The rest of my family loves and adores music. So that was easy. They've always been supportive of me. My mom's side Jamaican, so they just love music, and my dad's dad always had a piano in the house.
Nice.
So same with my mother's side. So yeah, music has just always been appreciated in my family. There are a couple other family members that I have that have that have done music for some time, but I think I'm the only one that's like made it a career long thing,
Nice, nice.
lifelong thing.
Yeah. So you're almost like the one of one in that sense.
Yeah, it feels good though, because you have support. And growing up in a city like New York, you can do that. Even if nobody in my family understood music, I would still have a really strong support system.
Yeah, that's awesome. Especially going to LaGuardia. You know, my knowledge of that school definitely comes from the movies. Is it anything like that when you were there?
It used to be, no disrespect, but I feel like I was on the cusp of when that changed because they started to actually care about grades. So things changed from the foundational level. But like I said, I feel like I did experience like the tail end of that. Like people were still like on tables during lunch playing the flute or something. Like they still did like the parades throughout classes for Christmas time and like other holidays. It was so fun and joyful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When
Nothing like, but close.
Yeah. I went to the Milwaukee High School of the Arts here in the city, and I feel like Fame was like my inspiration for wanting to go there, but also Taina. Y'all remember the TV show Taina on Nickelodeon? Like it was literally like that. Like there were moments when we would just be like coming down the hall and seeing kids like in the hallway playing violin or somebody making a song up in the cafeteria. Like that was so cool. So any school that does that and supports that is dope. Shout out to Milwaukee High School of the Arts if anybody is going to be watching. And Ronald Reagan High School, you guys definitely supportive in that regard. So as you were coming up, seems like you had a really great foundation set. Were there any specific inspirations, like if there were other folks in the industry or singers you like admired that you would consider to have been some of your key influences?
Yeah, I listened to, I bought all the CDs. I was listening to music all the time. And my parents were also playing music in the house. And I also grew up in church. So I had a heavy gospel influence during my formative years, I would say. Even though it didn't stick around for too long because I didn't feel like my voice fit in that style. I learned a lot of like my ear training and just like improvisation and stuff just through being in choir for so long. And I loved Christina Aguilera, India.Arie. I even listened to Shakira a lot growing up, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. And then a lot of gospel singers like Yolanda Adams. Shaka Khan was in the house. Michael Jackson was honestly probably the biggest one though. When I finally found out about him. I was like 12 or 13 and my whole life was changed.
Right. Like, everybody got a Michael moment, like when they finally realized the magnitude of who this artist was.
I mean, just magnitude is such a great word because it's like he just embodies everything that I would want to be as an artist. I'm not going to be in that way, but in my own way, I still take inspiration from him on a daily basis.
Grace, just since you're here, do you have a Michael moment? Like, when was the moment when you like knew that Michael was like the bee's knees?
Honestly, not to be lame, but I didn't really. I was into Michael Jackson, obviously.
Yeah.
I was more like, I had like a Whitney moment or like a Mariah moment, or I also was obsessed with Boyz II Men, and so my first concert. But I didn't have the Michael moment, but I did have like the Whitney moment where I was like, holy shit, this person is just. Sorry.
Okay.
It's a program for high school kids.
The one is fine. It's fine. Nobody will pay attention to that. You're good.
You feel me. But yeah, when I realized that Whitney just had something coming through her and her voice that was otherworldly.
Yeah, definitely had those moments for sure. And those are some key folks. So it's not surprising at all to hear that, especially coming from vocalists.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of vocalists and vocalizing and things of that nature, you had an opportunity to appear on season 8 of The Voice. It's always really cool to talk to folks who have those experiences with these competition-based shows. And just want to know, was there any sort of, what sort of impact did your involvement with that have on your career as a vocalist?
It had a huge impact. I think everybody's got different expectations when they do shows like that.
Yeah.
I luckily was so spent with having auditioned for so many of them and gotten rejected that I was like, okay, I'll go do it. Fine. So not that my expectations were low, but I was able to go in with an open mind. And I think that allowed me, it wasn't until the very, very end that I felt the competition aspect of things getting to me. Up until then, I just took all the advice and wisdom that I could. I was introduced to in-ears for the first time, what B-roll is.
Yeah.
The idea of just having to walk around and cameras following you just to get some clips to put into your opening package. Like a lot of what's expected of you as a successful artist, I learned being a contestant on The Voice.
Nice.
I'm so glad I was able to go in with an open heart instead of trying to win, because only one person's going to win and it's probably not going to be you. So you should go in ready to absorb as much as you can.
Yeah, that's awesome. I also love the fact that you mentioned that you weren't really expecting anything from it when you auditioned, because you had already done like other shows. Like I definitely know the feeling. Like I've tried out for everything too myself, but the fact that people can get to that point where you're like, well, I'm gonna do it just because, but I'm not gonna have like any expectation. Those are sometimes the moments when you're the most surprised, you know? So I think it teaches a really wise lesson to everybody, especially our young ones at home, about perseverance. You know, like even though you might have negative experiences that didn't work out in your favor, that doesn't mean that the next time around isn't going to be the one that's actually meant for you. Every experience you have that you want doesn't necessarily meant for you at that time, you know, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't still keep trying. So when things line up, you have an open heart, as you mentioned, to be able to receive that. So very, very cool.
I would also add, like, extending that to your personal life. Perhaps because of all the no's, I finally was at a point to be more confident in myself. When I had to perhaps, I don't know, meditate on everything that is good about me and everything I do have to offer. So that opportunity probably came because I was just at peace with myself at that point. And that's something I'm also being reminded of in my personal life. Yeah, good things do come to you when you know who you are. And it doesn't make sense to do those shows before you feel like you're ready for it.
Yeah. That makes
you'll
sense.
You'll never be ready for it if you think about it that way. But yeah, if you can, I was so lucky to have gone on with the most confidence I could have at 21 where I was at.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Guys, if you're watching at home, we are here with the lovely India Carney. Grace and I are presenting her lab on vocal performance. So if you guys have any questions at all about singing or want some tips, we're going to be having some stuff about that in a sec. But if you have any questions specifically, jot them down in the comments and we'll be sure to get them answered before we get up out of here. So a lot of people, especially teens, spend a good amount of time exploring like the different styles of music because they want to find out where their niche is or what do they like, what do they not like, what sounds good. And you have a lot of experience in a variety of vocal performances, but notably, you seem to have found a really nice groove with your a cappella vocal arrangement videos. We just showed a clip of that in the beginning before we brought you on. So what are some things that you enjoy about this particular style of vocal performance?
I think I love everything about the vocals and just being a singer. I've devoted my life thus far to understanding as much as I can about it. And there's always more to learn. So I think I was introduced to a cappella in college. I don't think I knew anything about a cappella music before going to UCLA. And during orientation, I'm walking down Bruin Walk, which is like the main general area. And there are all these a cappella groups just singing. And I'm like, what? I have to be part of this. So I joined, and it's like so different than I could have expected. I mean, like real flushed out arrangements written out on sheet music, like and we compete every year and then fly on our own dime to New York City to compete. And it's this grueling industry, but so gratifying and just fulfilling for me now that I'm removed from it. And so, yeah, I just felt like I learned a lot about my capabilities as a singer, what I could do as an arranger, and even more a music director through being in charge of all things vocal and trying to recreate something that we've all heard before just using your voice. I think is just so special. And yeah, I think it just embodies everything I love about music, which really just comes down to the voice and the beauty of what the human voice can do. And then after doing the show, I saw an immediate decrease in my numbers, my engagement. It felt like I had to start over again. And I kind of felt like I would be performing in vain if I were to be posting covers of me singing all the time on Instagram. It was before I really understood Instagram as a portfolio platform like that. And so I was like, what am I going to do? And then I remembered my a cappella work and I was like, this is fun for me. It's stimulating, it's challenging because I have to come up with original concepts, and it's kind of educational and like engaging to other people. It's something to talk about. And so that's what got me back into it, and then just doing it more consistently.
Yeah, I love it. India, you and I have a lot in common. Like, aside from the fact that we're here now and we both know Grace, I also make a cappella videos. Yes.
Oh, nice.
I do.
Cool.
Yes, I call them free mixes. Okay. And nice. I love the stuff that you were saying about, how it just gives you like this different outlook of like the vocal control. And one of the reasons why I started doing or like going hard body with them too was kind of the same thing. I was like, do I really want to start? Of course I can make a cover. Of course I can sing, but it's like, what is really going to be like something that's attention grabbing? And I feel like there were so many people that were already doing them between like the 2014s and 15s, but it was such this elusive thing. Like people were being like gatekeepy about how they were making them. It took me a long time to find out like there was like an app for that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and now I'm finding out there's like Final Cut. I did not know that I had Final Cut. Didn't realize they can also do the multi-video thing to that capacity. So you have definitely gone into that very, very well. So kudos is what I'm pretty much going to say. Yeah. Can you give? I was just about to say, like, people do not realize how much work goes into creating those videos. Like you get the final product and the entertainment value of it, but the actual having to transcribe things and reharmonize them and arrange them in Logic Pro, and then having to clean it up and then record against the audio and make it look presentable. There's a task. It is a grueling task, and please do not take it for granted. So if you guys are ever scrolling India's page, which you should, or mine, make sure you please go check out those acapella videos and know that all of these different things went into it.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
So I posted and accidentally took off of my profile grid. I don't know how I pressed that button, but if you look in my reels and you're interested, I have like a brief how-to video that interests anybody.
Nice. I was just about to say, like,
and I learned a lot. I was like, okay. I know.
Love it. And you know what? I feel like people who do like the DIY or how-to approach are also super valuable when it comes to like musical creative content and stuff like that. So thank you very much for that. You guys go check out that reel so you can get up on this as well. So we are here talking about all things vocal performance, and your reels also include content where you talk about different things that might be helpful to singers, because you yourself are an educator as well. You teach voice. And I remember there's a reel that you had. There was talking people about exercising before you sing, and then the openness that creates for your lungs. And I was like, that is such an amazing tip. I never would have thought to like tell people that or remind them of that, and it's true. So I'm hoping that we can get your brief synopsis, and this doesn't have to be the end all be all, of what you would consider your top 5 vocal pro tips for anybody that might be watching at home and wondering, like, what are some things that I can start playing around with or doing that will help me move towards my goal of being a great singer or just developing my voice. You good?
I think we got a little froze.
You good?
Okay.
There she is.
Oh, she's back.
We're back. So top 5 like vocal tips is what you're saying?
Yeah, top 5 pro. I have a banner. Top 5 pro vocal tips.
Look at you, Be Free.
Tips. Whew. I mean, one is definitely exercise. Exercise is amazing. You could just run on the treadmill for like 20 minutes and then just go sing if you wanted to, not even warming up. Because the breath is I think it's the real foundation of like the quality of the sound that you're going to produce. So
yeah,
if you exert yourself on the treadmill, then you'll probably be in tip-top shape for whatever your breath needs are. But also warm up. Warming up looks different for everybody. I was told when I was younger that the warm up should last around like 30 or 40 minutes. And so I would always do 30 or 40 minutes. And then I'd have people tell me I'm doing too much. And then I realized, no, it's just what you need. I do actually still need 30, 40 minutes. But some people might need 10. What's most important isn't that you're doing lip trills. It's that you know what you're targeting and that you know that the lip trills are targeting that. But if you just aimlessly do warm-ups that you found online, it could help for some time, probably if you're like younger and just need less. Like I remember before I was 18, I didn't even need to warm up at all. And then my body changed and was like, you do. And now my body's changing even more and my warm-ups are taking a different shape. So warm up, but also understand what you are warming up. Okay. I think research is great. Like listening to different singers, not to compare, but to like thoughtfully analyze the things that you love about them, even the things that you don't like about them. But for the things that you like, get even deeper and be like, how are they producing that? And if you can't figure it out, ask a teacher or somebody who can help you with that. But for example, like I remember I was listening to Mariah Carey once and I was like, I love how she attacks that note. Like it makes it sound so much more epic. And then when I did it in practice, it actually made it for me to sing said note. And all she did was put a glottal stop in front of the note. And the glottal is where you hard attack a vowel, like it's that onset as opposed to like a and that on the right note for the right duration is actually easier than trying to ease into it. And I learned that by listening to her. So there are a lot of things you can learn just by listening to people, watching their body language, seeing, okay, are they straining? Okay, so maybe if they're straining, if I try that, it's not going to be good for me. Or you try it and then it works for you. There's like no real set recipe. So do your research, pay close attention to the singers that you love, and then try new things. And which leads me, I guess, to the 4th piece of advice. And then listen to your body and its response. A lot of times your body will tell you when you need to adjust. And that's something that you can take to your personal life as well. The older you get, the more your body just has physical and emotional reactions to your environment. So when it's telling you something, you don't always have to take it as I'm in danger. Perhaps it's just maybe I need to adjust. And that's something I have to deal with all the time when I'm singing. Okay, this note, it's not too high for me, but the way I'm singing it isn't working. So let me change the vowel or something. Or let me just change the note because it's my song at this point. If it's a cover I'm doing, it's my song at this point. I can do whatever I want.
Artistic license.
Okay. Artistic license. Okay, but the last one I guess the last tip, honestly, would be to allow yourself some grace and just remember that you are human at the end of the day. You are not auto-tune, and you shouldn't be auto-tune. I was told that auto-tune was actually created for singers. So
Mm,
um, allow yourself to be great, and then allow yourself to be great on the record and also different and just as great live.
mm-hmm,
Don't stress yourself out trying to be somebody that you're not. Just embrace your voice for everything that you are, which is human. And the imperfections of being human is that's what makes you special as well.
mm-hmm.
That's all the great things that you can do. So yeah, so in a nutshell, allow yourself some grace. Remember that you are human.
Nice, nice. I love how this is like mostly like philosophical. Like people don't realize like singing, the approach to singing isn't all the time just physical stuff. Like it very much is a lot of the stuff that's in your head too, you know? Like I'll tell my students, for example, like if you've already, this is a random example, but like if you've already convinced yourself that something is difficult to do or to perform, like it's going to react. Your body's going to react the way your throat is going to close up. Like everything is going to like be feeding off of the mental energy that you're already giving to that. So like, no, all of that stuff is very much important. Like this is great. I'm going to be going back and compiling that to make sure people can see these top fives as well. But thank you so much for sharing.
Of course, my pleasure.
Yeah. So this has been, I have a million other questions that I would love to ask you, but I just feel like that means we're going to have to save it for a part 2. So yes, guys, please make sure if you have any additional questions for India, then you can please jot them over in our gwmusiclab.com on our IG. You can hit her up on IG, and she's got to go back to American Idol. But please make sure you give it up for India. Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you got to come back and join us next season whenever you can.
Yes, I would absolutely love to. Thank you so much for speaking with me, and I hope that was helpful. And I hope
It
we can pick
was.
it up again at another time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, India.
Yeah, thank you.
Love you, India. Thanks so much.
Love you, Grace. Thank you,
Have
girl.
fun.
Man, that was amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm like sitting here like I'm a student. Like, you know, like I love this. She has such a charming voice, like the way that she's speaking about everything already. So I can only imagine like what it's like to actually be under her vocal tutelage, as if you will.
When she talked about like the glottal stop before the note, like of being like instead of like it just reminded me how many tools singers have to craft a song and to craft you know, like they have a canvas. I think sometimes we forget as singers that we have tools that we can pull from. And in the same way that an instrumentalist, you know, knows how to turn their lips a different way or you know, push a little harder on the strings or whatever. Like I feel like sometimes singers are told, you know, it all comes only from the emotional aspect of it, which is true, but you have to remember that there's also skill involved too and there's tools that you can pull from that will help you craft the emotional story that you're trying to tell. So yeah,
it's a lot. It's a responsibility that we have. I feel like being singers and being musicians. So no, I love this whole segment because it just really reminds you of the philosophical stuff that goes into what we do. So super great. I definitely know we're going to be inviting India back once we continue going forward. You guys at home that are watching or will be watching, thank you so much for joining us. And please make sure you save the date because May 25th is our season finale. Woo! Not only is it our season finale, but it's also going to be an open house. That is right, my friends. We are going to be in person. We're going to be at 88.9 Radio Milwaukee Studios in Walker's Point for a live music lab with real people. I'm super excited. We're going to be joined by Milwaukee band No Seatbelts, and you guys are definitely going to want to check them out. But if you are joining from afar, please do not fret because we are still going to keep the live stream option open for you guys so you can check it out from your home or you can come and hang with us in person here in Milwaukee. So you got multiple ways of accessing that, guys. I'm super excited. So please make sure you visit us at gwmusiclab.com, or make sure you follow us at GW Music Lab on IG and Facebook to keep up with the details on our last Music Lab of the season. And we got some other stuff coming up in the summer too. Maybe making a Summerfest appearance, I heard, So lots of fun things on the horizon, guys. Thank you so much to Grace for joining me. Appreciate you being here. And thank you much to you guys. And also thank you to our sponsors who are Advocate Aurora Health, American Family Insurance, the Daniel M. Sorf Charitable Trust. I got to do a special voice for that. Daniel M. Sorf Charitable Trust, MPS Partnership for the Arts and Humanities, Ralph Everett Foundation, and of course, 88.9 Radio Milwaukee. So anybody who was not able to catch the beginning performance, we are going to close out with a special treat from tonight's guest, India Carney. This is her original single entitled Human, and we'll catch you guys later.
See you later.
And though nobody knows the trouble I've seen, I know my word should be enough just to lay it out clean. But in a world where I know that there ought to get me, words aren't enough. Words aren't enough. So I take to the streets like a vigilante, and I pull out the one thing that I had on me. I took my phone and I showed you the truth on a video screen. Still not enough. Still not enough. How hard is it to show me empathy when you know there's no difference between you and me? You can't take my life unless you wanna take yours, and you can't change my mind from the truth that I know. Oh, you can't choose to be blind like I'm invisible. You know I'm human, 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 human. Well, I'm tired of clickbait and I'm tired of lies. I'm tired of seeing all these people who look like me dying. Oh, I thought we come so far, but the pain's under the rug. Well, how hard is it to show me empathy, yeah, when you know there's no difference between you and me, yeah. You can't take my life unless you wanna take yours, and you can't change my mind from the truth that I know. Oh, you can't choose to be blind like I'm invisible. Yeah, you know I'm human, 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 human. I'm human, human. I'm human, human. I'm human, 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 human. I just hope we make it. I know I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone in this. I know